this morning's gospel lesson, and I use it a lot for funeral services. This reminder that Jesus is going and preparing a place for us. And the middle of the story is the part that often catches the attention. And I forget about the beginning of the story. And I neglect the end of the story. Like all good stories, it begins with a dilemma. In this case, worrying and fretting and anxiety. It begins with Jesus pointing out our troubled hearts, as if we really need a reminder that many days our hearts are troubled. A headline from this past week begins with these words: "A church's parking lot woes." Parking lot woes. What could it be? I clicked to see, and as the story came up on the computer, all kinds of things went through my mind. Sinkholes. Maybe the parking lot disappeared. Drug sales. Skateboarding thugs, let's call them. I don't know. Maybe there were broken bottles there, or late night loitering, or maybe people were parking there and the snow couldn't be removed, or people were trying to get to the church and everybody was lined up in front and they weren't even part of the church and they were going somewhere else. Maybe people were hanging out and trying to throw stones through stained glass windows. I don't know. The story came up, and it turned out that Aldersgate United Methodist Church in Jackson did have a parking lot problem. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it probably wasn't the kind of problem that necessitated protecting their stained glass windows, but it was the kind of problem that was causing undue wear and tear and causing some frustration inside of the people there. Aldersgate United Methodist Church is on the corner of North Parkway, it turns out, and Campbell Street. I don't know where those are, but it turns out those are very busy streets. It is a busy, busy intersection, and the easiest way to negotiate the traffic is to simply cut through the church parking lot. You know how it is when some little thing begins to grate on you? The speck in someone else's eye, that little thing they do wrong, just begins to grate until your own vision becomes blurred and there becomes this log in your own eye and it begins to churn inside and your heart gets troubled. Well, Aldersgate United Methodist Church's heart was becoming troubled. We have a 23 or 24-year-old daughter. Which is she? 23 now? Going on 24? Yeah, 23 going on 24. That's all right. They can attest at the Women of Grace meeting, I had a little trouble naming fork, spoon, or knife. So, yeah, these things that don't seem crucial sometimes I forget. What is crucial is she's moved back into the nest again. Which she's moved back this time very adult-like, very helpful. Just seems, you know, she's easy to have around. Except, I wish I could put a magnet under the ground that would attract her car and only her car, so when she got close to our yard, it would just suck her car to one particular place and only that particular place. It's a little thing. My wife says to me, she says, just relax, calm down. My daughter, and my wife keeps saying, just relax. Don't let your heart be troubled, is what she says, in essence. Jesus says, don't let your hearts be troubled. When it seems I'm not in the place you expect me to be, or I'm not concerned about the things you expect me to be concerned about, don't let your hearts be troubled. If you can't find me, or it feels as though I'm far away, don't let your hearts be troubled. If you can't understand what it is Jesus has in mind for you today, because the day's not going the way you planned, don't let your hearts be troubled. What troubles your hearts? Seriously, what are the things that stir within you and create unrest? What is the worry you really wish to be free from? But not so much that if it's not going to turn out your way, you're willing to be free from it. Or what is that worry that you would love to be free from no matter how it turns out, but you just can't seem to let go of? When was a time you looked at a person in the midst of a stressful situation and found yourself saying, I can't believe that. She is just unflappable. Or he is so calm. How does that work? Today's gospel lesson begins right at the heart of our hearts, where we are the most flappable, the most fettered, the most frozen. And Jesus, in essence, says, become unflappable, unfettered, unfrozen. Forgive those who trespass against us. Lord knows Aldersgate Church was struggling with those who were trespassing on their space. Over time, there are potholes, there's maintenance, there's safety hazards. Over time, being trespassed against can change, welcoming warm hearts into cold and cranky hearts. And Aldersgate was flappable and fettered and frozen, and they really didn't know how to stop this trespassing on their property. And they were asking, like God says, ask for anything, I'll give it to you. And they were asking, Lord, stop these people from going through our parking lot. But there is a catch when Jesus at the end says, ask for anything, and I'll give it to you. He says, ask for anything in my name for the glory of God, and I will give it to you. And asking for the glory of God involves a bit of letting go of what we think should happen. Not my will, but thy will be done. That's the start of unflappability, if that's a word. Not my plans, but thy kingdom come. That is the start of being unfettered and free. When we are stuck, when we are frozen, it's a good thing to be asked not to be led into temptation and to be led away from evil. It's a good thing to start not with those who are trespassing against us, but to begin with ourselves and what's going on in our hearts. It starts not with naming someone else's faults, but asking God to take away our troubled hearts. And so that's what Aldersgate began to do. And suddenly, God gave them a new move, a new idea. And now they have sitting out just beside the top a little stop on the way through Aldersgate United Methodist Church's parking lot. It's a prayer station. People can stop, they can pick up information on prayers, and there's a prayer box, there's sheets of paper there and pens. They can write out their prayer need. And they can drop it in a locked box, and a prayer team will pray over it during the week. It's changed things. It's a way that the church has said, we're going to take this opportunity to say, we care. And Jesus cares. We know what it is to hurt. We know what it is to have troubled hearts. We know what it is to be pressed for time. Jesus hasn't abandoned you. And we welcome you. Will you pray with me? You can just, if you want to, you can pray the words after I say them. If you don't, that's all right. But this may help you on your journey. It helps me. God, make us unflappable, unfettered, and unfrozen. So we may nurture others in hope. And so we may build Christ-like community and bless the world.